Greetings. Happy Thursday. I am the Moon Mama, and today is a Jupiter day. But before I go into that, I really want to tell you all how incredible last night's class was for Mercury Retrograde Reset Scorpio Edition. If you are interested, everything is recorded. We have 2 more live classes, but the class last night with Ricky Williams, who I've shared before. You guys might know him. He's a former Heisman Trophy winner, football player. Now he is an acupuncturist, an astrologer. He's just like an all-around mystic. I would say that he's always been someone who's walked the unbeaten path, and that gives me the great fortune of being friends with him, because if he was just a football guy, I wouldn't have any contact with him at all, because I've never liked football or enjoyed it in any way. But he does the kind of work that I do, and he's a teacher of mine, and he's a friend of mine. Last night's class, he really laid out so clearly how to work with the shadow energy while we're in Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. How do we actually begin to do the work to look at the things that scare us, the things that keep us stuck, the places where we are resisting, being fully responsible for every aspect of us. Many of us have been through really painful things in our lives, and many of us have even done things that are really painful, to others. One of the things I'm always aware of is that when I hear people talking, or just in coaching, we often talk about what people have done to us, but we're rarely talking about what we have done to others. And that is as much of the shadow experience. And we need to be able to own all those things. In the human experience, we bump into one another. We bump into ourselves. We bump into aspects of us that are really painful and traumatizing and depressing and frightening. And at this time on the planet, we get to. It is our opportunity to look at that stuff and begin to make shifts. And this Mercury retrograde is a premier time to do that. And Ricky last night laid it out how to do it. And next week we're going to have a beautiful presenter. We're going to be working with Kali, the energy of Kali, and so we're in it. So I encourage you. The class is recorded. Join today. You can learn, what Ricky talked about last night, and then we're doing the astrology every day, and we're doing, readings for the energy to really help us shift this Mercury retrograde energy in ways that are very empowering. So today is a Jupiter day. And Jupiter is the planet of luck and blessings and expansion and global travel. And today Jupiter is in a square with Mars. It's been in a square with Mars. Mars is retrograde in Aries. So this energy is our capacity, our ability to have faith in ourselves. And it's not much more complicated than that, except that everything is complicated right now. It's like how to simplify your ability to see your way through the most challenging experiences that you've had. Like, I've been working with a lot of people this week, and people are really thinking about leaving jobs and leaving relationships, and people are thinking about leaving the country and moving abroad, just because there's like an adventurous spirit in the air. That is Jupiter, like giving yourself permission to be adventurous, to see yourself beyond the current confines and constructs of your life that exist right now. How can you expand? And do you believe in your capacity and ability to expand? For me, I am expanding in my business because Jupiter is in my 10th house right now. So if you know where Jupiter is for you, then you can see where you need expansion. You can see where you need faith. So if Jupiter is in your first house, you need to expand in the area of your identity. You need to become more than you are. If Jupiter is in your second house, then you need to expand in your value, maybe grow your business in some way that is based upon your values. And then if it's in your third house, you need to expand in your capacity to communicate, to perceive a new reality. That's a really tricky one, because it's this ability to be able to see something and perceive something before it's actually in place. If you have Jupiter in the fourth house, in Capricorn. So what I'm talking about is Jupiter in the sky right now, not your natal Jupiter, Jupiter in the sky right now. And so if you have if Jupiter is transiting your fourth house right now, then you want to expand in your home area. Also might want to expand around things from your childhood and things you learned in your childhood, just around your behavior patterns and things like that. If you have Jupiter transiting through your fifth house, romance and play and maybe children, maybe you're considering having a child. If you have Jupiter transiting your sixth house, the sixth house is work and service. And so maybe you're thinking about new ways that, new opportunities for work or business expansion, service, or maybe if it's the people you're with on a daily basis. So maybe then it's like your children. Maybe there are things you need to do for your children that don't exist already that you want to put in place. If Jupiter is transiting your seventh house, the seventh house is partnership. It's the other is what it is. So it's partnership and marriage, but really it's just everyone else. It's like you and the other. So then you want to expand your relationships. You might want to start inviting new people into your life. Like maybe your relationships are going to change and old relationships are going away and new ones are coming in. If Jupiter is transiting your eighth house, that is about your own power and being able to literally use your power and your sexuality, your sexual energy in ways that are alchemical and transformational. This is the house of transformation and death and things like that. So this could be an uncomfortable energy, but because Jupiter is there, you're always going to land on your feet if you have faith, if you are willing to, believe in yourself. If you have Jupiter transiting your ninth house right now, that is about your relationship to the divine, your relationship to spirituality. Or also you might be feeling the compulsion to move and, leave the, travel or relocate to someplace outside of into a foreign land, right? A place that is unknown for you. Also, Jupiter here is also, it's a desire to learn more, to expand more, to study, to expand your philosophy of life. If you have Jupiter in your 10th house, the way that I do, then it's about your work, expanding your work and your outward presence in the world. And that requires that you be in integrity with yourself and in integrity with the higher forces of the universe, because Jupiter is also like divine guidance. And then if you have Jupiter going through your transiting your 11th house, that's friends, community, organizations, but it's also where you're going. It's also like your elder years. So this will be a time to really get clear about your goals and what you're here to do, and where do you want to be by the time you're, say, 50? What kind of work do you want to be doing? You can start thinking about that now and doing prayer and meditation around it. And then if you have Jupiter transiting your 12th house, the 12th house is the subconscious. It's also spiritual practices, and it's spiritual practices and spiritual dimensions and things like that. But it's also where you might be feeling a great sense of transformation, like change, like things that used to really serve you don't serve you anymore. Things kind of come to die in the 12th house. So if Jupiter is moving through your 12th house, it will create a restlessness where you aren't sure what to do yet. You just know that things don't settle with you anymore and it's time to move on to something else. And it'll reveal itself if you just do your spiritual work and ask to be led, directed, and guided in ways that are in alignment with your soul. And the moon today we are in the dark of the moon. We're going to have a new moon. If you'd like to join me for my final new moon meditation that I'm going to be offering to the public, or to my community, I'm sorry to say the public, that felt weird to me, offering is tonight, and it's going to be tonight at 6 o'clock. p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can sign up for my email list here before the email goes out this morning with the Zoom link, because there's a new moon in Libra, and this is the dark of the moon, where it's time for us to get clear about our intentions around relationships. Like, how are we showing up in relationships? I'm having such a fascinating time clearing out relationships that don't serve me, where I'm playing small or where it just really isn't an alignment, where I can feel like this relationship doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel connected in a way that serves me and that I can serve them. So my relationship sector is being really cleared out because we have this new moon in Libra that's coming. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to have a full moon in Taurus. So this is all Venetian energy, and Venus is currently in Virgo. So Virgo says what works and what doesn't. Virgo is this energy of integrating. And so we have to be integrating with relationships that are going to serve us into our greatest yet to be. We can't continue to play small. We can't continue to be codependent. We can't continue to rely on relationships and people where it's just not really fruitful for us. So we're being asked to let go of those things. And today in this new moon, we get to set new intentions. So if you'd like to join that, you can register here for my email. Also, if you'd like to get Mercury retrograde reset readings, you can do that here. Mercury is in retrograde now, and I'm doing readings to help and assist you in seeing how to use this energy. This is going to be a very intense energy. The best way to be with it is to do that shadow work. Kelly Lynn Prime and I are doing the Mercury retrograde class. I said last night Ricky Williams was there, and we have a group already of, just sign up. We already have about 35 people there. And so we're going to be here for 3 weeks doing this work until Mercury goes direct, which is on November 3rd. With that, I am the Moon Mama. I love y'all so very much. And have a beautiful day. Peace and blessings. Bye-bye.